Korea, when I was young, there were not many picture books around, actually. So I think I read all the books that has images on it. I think that was the picture book for me. And the one book that you mentioned before there, I can remember that we had a copy of The Shrinking of Trihorn, and it was illustrated by Edward Gorey, and I had a small copy at home. My mother bought it, actually, and that book is a very strange book. It's about the boy called Trihorn, and at some point he is shrinking, but nobody knows why. And at some point he's getting taller again. And I didn't really understand what the story is about, but I thought it's very strange, and it felt like really mysterious book. So I thought maybe picture book should be like that. So that was my first experience of the picture book that I can remember. I love his drawing, the drawings by Edward Gorey. And besides, as I said earlier, there is some kind of strangeness and uniqueness in that book. And anyhow, I thought the picture book must have that kind of some quality of the mysterious things in it. I think that's the most important thing for me at that moment. Yeah. I studied painting in my university days, and of course I made many paintings, but besides I did a lot of installations and other mediums too. And then one project I made was about myself, but it had a form of a book. And I really like the characteristics of a book, so probably this is my medium for myself, but at the time that was it in my university days. And then after graduation I had some exhibitions, and I started my career as a freelance illustrator. And then at the time I was just commissioned to do it, so it wasn't really not my work, I felt, and it was not that very exciting. So I wanted to make my own book, so I searched what I can do. And I found that term of the artist books, and it's under the category of the fine arts. So whatever artist it is, artist take his medium as a book. So if it is in the form of book, anything can be art. And I like that term very much. So I went to London, UK to study book arts. And then it was really good experience for me. And at the time also I found that children's book illustration is really fascinating one. And then I went to Bologna at the time, and everything was combined together. So maybe it's my path to go to the picture book world, and that's what I started. Right. Actually, that was my master project at that time in London. So as soon as I arrived, the first exhibition I saw was the exhibition for the Lewis Carroll. And I saw the manuscript of the Alice in Wonderland for the first time. And he was quite a good artist as well. So I read Alice in Wonderland as a grown-up. Well, I read it when I was young, but it was completely different. So I read it, and I was impressed by the main concept of the Alice book. It's like a dream within a dream, and I really like that. Everything was dream. The Alice's adventure was just a dream, and in that master course of book art, I wanted to experiment the form of the book, and I wanted to be in the form of the picture book. So I made it, Alice in Wonderland, and then I brought it to the Bologna Book Fair, and luckily, yeah, it got published. But actually, I didn't really intend to make wordless books. It just becomes like that. I don't know, maybe because I studied painting, I regard myself as a painter first. So everything starts from the image, I think. And I think in visual. So when the story comes, it comes in the form of the images. So that was very natural to me. And when I finished the story, which is the series of the images, then I don't feel that I have to add any words into it. I think it's there's just a unique visual logic in these wordless books, and I really like it. Yeah. When I do everything by myself, I mean, sometimes I write the text and I make images for my picture books, and I think it's about the experimental thing that I wanted to take a book as an object, and I wanted to well, how can I say? When I am thinking about how to experiment with the form of the book, I tend to work by myself, and sometimes the publishers send the manuscript to me, and there's the wonderful, beautiful stories inside, and usually I take it when this manuscript is not the one I usually do. Right. When I made the book Alice in Wonderland, there was a page with the Tweedledum and Tweedledee inside of the book, and this gutter in the middle, these twins are placed in one each on the page. And I thought, oh, it looked like a mirror image. Actually, the twins are the mirrored image too. So they act strangely, they are doing the opposite actions. And then, or maybe I could make a book about this. So it's like a decalcomanie. So you put paint on the one side of the paper and you fold it and unfold it, then you have this butterfly shaped like that. But it's the exactly same, but not exactly, but it's like a mirrored image. And I thought it's very interesting. So I made a wave. So there's a one side in the girl is there, and there's the other side. There's waves word, and they interact each other. So I finished the wave book, and then I wanted to make one more book, but it's the format is different. So the previous two books is vertical, long shape, but it opens to the side. But this time, the shadow book, the third book, is open from bottom to top. So in that case, with this gutter in the middle, the upper side is like a real word, the girl's word, and the bottom word is like a shadow imaginary word. So that's how I made the trilogy books. Actually, I lived in Singapore for 6 years because of my husband's job there, and it's really hot city there, and then I really missed the winter time. So whenever I came back to Korea to visit my parents, I brought my kids to the ice rink, and they're really happy to be, skating, and that makes me remind me of the childhood I had. I really liked skating in winter time when I was young. So at that time I thought the blank white ice field is like a paper, and there's a lot of lines and traces that the skate blades made. And I thought that's a kind of sketchbook with a full of drawings, and I wanted to make a book about that, about skating, the joy of skating, and as well as about the joy of drawing as well. And I thought I could combine the two ideas together, and that becomes lines. In Korea, my book called River, it's about my dog. It just came out, and it's a little bit different book that I have been made, but it's my personal story about the dog we had, and we had a really good time, but something happened, so it's about that. So that's my latest book. Library is just the most important thing in my life and my kids' life too. It's the center of our everyday, life, because it's the place where the picture book as well as the book lovers gathering together, and it's a really blessing to have that kind of place nearby. So we went there very often, and sometimes I do some lectures and workshops there too, and this is the good really chance to meet readers around. Yeah, so I love the libraries